Hello everybody and welcome back to another OceanCast tutorial. Now, one highly requested feature is how can I add more storage to my server without actually upgrading the RAM, the CPU, and everything else that makes my server so amazing? And the answer is DigitalOcean came out with something brand new, and it's block storage that you can integrate right into your Droplet. It's actually really amazing. We're going to check it out. So if you remember, before I took my big long break of making videos, I went ahead and talked to you about how to actually add like an AWS S3 bucket to your DigitalOcean Droplet as a drive, and you were able to add files to there and view them in your S3 window browser, and it was like so overwhelming because there was just so many things you had to do and blah 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 blah. It was a lot of work, really. Well, DigitalOcean has revised that whole process, and they came out with their own branded thing, which is block storage on DigitalOcean. The idea is you can create a basically another volume, if you will, and attach it to your Droplet. And then in order to completely add it, you have to mount it and format it and blah, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to go over all of that in this tutorial step by step. Now, I'm going to put the link to this video, or to this page that I'm at right now in the video description. I highly suggest that you follow along with this link, as it's basically going to be all the steps I'm going through, so you're able to go ahead and look back at it if you need help to get through the process. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually get started. So this first bit, I'm not going to pay any attention to this guide because I know what I have to do. We need to first go over to DigitalOcean, and we need to just create a new Droplet. Or you could actually just use an existing Droplet and add all this fun stuff to it, but we're just going to start out with a new Droplet, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to select just the default normal Ubuntu, actually the latest Ubuntu I'll be using. I'm going to select the smallest amount of space for the Droplet as I can to kind of like use like an actual use case for this. So maybe you're having like a web sharing file server system on DigitalOcean. Of course, this is all legal things that you can share. I mean, like, no copyright infringement or anything like that. It's all stuff that you actually own. So maybe if you're a photography business and you want to have backups of all your photos, or if you want to have a web online photo gallery, you can do that. And it's probably the best idea to have those stored on your additional space, because you don't really have much space starting out with a Droplet. You only got 20 gigabytes. So that's how you can overcome that. Now you can add block storage here. So we're going to go ahead and leave this blank for now, because I want to replicate this as much as I can if you already have a Droplet and you want to assign a volume to that. And in order to use block storage, it says it's only available in Frankfurt, New York City, and San Francisco. I'm pretty sure it's SFO, I think. Yeah. The region 1 in Frankfurt, region 1 in New York, and region 2 in San Francisco. So make sure you're selecting those correct regions if you want to deploy a Droplet to that region that you can also add block storage to at a later date. So if you're just watching this video and you want to add it to a pre-existing Droplet, make sure your Droplet's in Frankfurt, New York City, or San Francisco. And if it's not, you need to go ahead, power down your Droplet, take a snapshot of it, transfer it to the region that does have it, and fire up the then create a Droplet from that image in either Frankfurt, New York City, or San Francisco. So with that said, I'm going to create mine in New York City 1, as that is what's required to create a Droplet with a block storage. So let's go ahead and continue down here. I am going to enable private networking and IPv6 just because I do that pretty much standardly. I'm also going to select my SSH key just because I want to be able to like SSH right into my server without having to wait for a stupid password, and it's also more secure too. And finally, we need to choose a host name, so I'm just going to name this block storage example. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this Droplet just by pressing the create button, and then we'll go ahead and fire this Droplet right up. So in the meantime, while that's firing up, I want to go ahead and create a new volume. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's press on volumes, and this is where we'll create a new block storage device. So let's go ahead and do that by pressing the add volume button. And we need to go ahead and like decide what you want. You can enter a custom size if you want. You can select a 100 gig, 500 gig, or 1000 gigabyte drive, and you can see the respective pricings. And I'm going to just go ahead and select, I only want to add a 10 gig drive just because it's small, and I only need 10 gigs right now. I don't need 100 gigs. That's That's interesting. Okay, anyways. So now we need to go ahead and actually assign this to a droplet. And right now you can see my droplet is currently processing. So we need to actually wait or give that a second to catch up on what it's doing. And it should be all fired, so I don't know why it's taking so long. But let's go ahead and try adding that again. So I'm going to only select 10 gigabytes, and I'm going to attach it to that block storage example droplet. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name of, I'm actually just going to give it the name of the same thing as the droplet with a with the word storage and then 1 afterwards. So if you want to add a multiple devices or drives to your droplet, you can just go ahead and like hyphenate it with 1. And this is so you can kind of understand like where this is going with what droplet, etc. So because you might have multiple volumes, and this is how you can keep them straight. So just naming conventions, that's it. Maybe you just want to name it BE for the abbreviation of your droplet, and then dash storage at 1. Actually, I actually really like that. So let's do that. BE dash storage dash 1, and it's a better way to keep it a little bit smaller, and also you can be able to identify that droplet. So let's go ahead and create this volume by pressing the create volume button, and it will go ahead and attach it to this droplet, and it will also go ahead and attach it to your droplet. It will create the volume. All right, so now this is really nice because I wasn't expecting it to actually give us this. So this is great because what we're going to be able to do is just basically follow these steps, and it will actually go ahead and make it so we don't really have to do anything much more than that. So now's the time we want to open up your terminal, and I happen to use Hyperterm, which is a very nice client terminal, and it's kind of like built off of JavaScript, and it's amazing. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So we first want to SSH into our server. So SSH root at our server address, so 67.205, and this will be your server address, not mine. And that's good there. And we'll want to accept our SSH key. If you were using a password, you want to paste that in there, of course. And once we're in, we're ready to actually go. So the first thing we need to do is format the volume. So we can do that just by copying and pasting the text below. And we're not going to copy the part with the hashtag. I guess it's going to copy the whole thing. So I guess we're just going to do that. So we can go ahead and paste in that big long text there. And it's just the sudo is going to run this command that goes ahead and formats the volume. So let's go ahead and do that now. And this is really nice because before you would actually have to write all of this weird stuff out here for the BE-storage for everything. But this is really nice because it gives you configurations for this storage device. So let's go ahead and run that. And we can see that it went ahead and formatted that drive, and it gave it a unique, it formatted the drive. So that's all we really need to know for it then. So now we need to mount this volume so that we actually can start storing stuff on it. So let's go ahead and copy all of this, and we'll explain it as it goes. So let's go ahead and paste all of that in, and you can just press enter, and it went ahead and stored all the information. So let's break this down. The first thing it's wanting to do is it created a mount point, so you can actually, it's created a directory that you'll be mounting that drive to this directory. It's kind of how Ubuntu works. And then it's actually going to do the actual process of mounting it to that directory. So you created the directory it's going to be mounted to, and then this is the command that actually mounts it to that directory, this dev disk drive to this directory, which is right here. So then we have to change Fstab so the volume will be mounted after boot. So basically all it does is echoes this into etc/fstab or fstab, however you want to pronounce it, whatever you want to do. And it goes ahead, and every time you boot, it runs it. Ubuntu just basically reads this file, and it says, oh, I need to go ahead and mount this drive to this file system location, which is basically the folder, which is mnt/ your droplet store or your volume storage ID. And that's it. And that's it. That's it. Everything's done now. So now it says this volume is now accessible at mnt/bestorage1, and you are able to write files and store other data. This data will persist if you detach the volume and will continue to be available when the volume is attached to another droplet. If you want, you can customize the commands above. Please refer to the following articles, which I will paste this article that I mentioned at the beginning, which basically took everything into account, and it actually wrote everything basically in this article that you really need to know in this nice model. So that's really nice. So you don't really have to refer to documentation, but I'll put a link to the video description just in case if you run into issues, which you shouldn't if you just follow these simple configurations. If you're an advanced user, it has a little bit more information about formatting and things such as that nature, but that's beyond the general scope of this tutorial, and maybe in a future tutorial I can go over that as well. So we can go ahead and press OK here, and we can see that our server, our droplet or volume It's connected to our Droplet, and it has been created just now, which is amazing. Okay, so then we can see more information. We can attach this to a server. We can resize this volume here. We can detach the volume. We can see the config instructions again in case we wanted to see them, in case we're going to detach it from this server and attach it to another server. We can see the config. Oh yeah, I said that. And we can also take a snappage of this. We can take a snapshot of this volume if we want to have just backups of the volume. But you're probably wondering to yourself, well, how in the heck can I actually do something with this? Which is a great question. So let's go ahead and look at that. So if you remember, the config wanted us, when we were configuring it, we put it under this folder called mnt/be storage1. So let's take a look at that. So let's go ahead and clear out this terminal, make it all beautiful again. And let's go ahead and cd into that directory. So cdm mount. And then we'll go ahead and type in the be-storage-1. Now, if you're on a, if you're using terminal and everything, you should be able to just tab over and you should see like a list of folders. Now, this is the only folder in there, so that's the only thing that popped up. So it's a really nice way of just quickly going over. And if I would have like quickly started typing out just BE, because I know it's BE storage, I can just go ahead and tab there and it kind of auto completes it. So let's clear this out and make everything look great again. And then let's go ahead and list out stuff. There's a lost and found folder just because when you partition it through Ubuntu, that's what you get. But let's go ahead and make a file there. So let's do a VI of my new file text. And we can go ahead and start writing stuff here. So let's go ahead and write, let's go ahead and write hello there with a little smiley face. All right, so if we go ahead and list that out, we see that this my new file.txt is, sorry about that. I don't care, and go away. All right, so so this is actually on that drive. This is on the volume that we just created. It's not on our server, but it's on our volume. Now, how do I know this? Well, I mean, it's technically on our server, but it's on a volume that's connected to our server. It'd be kind of like if you were going to get a flash drive and plug it into your computer right now. It's kind of like that almost, because you can go ahead and detach and reattach it. Okay, so once this is here like this, the reason how you know it's on your actual volume is because it's in this mnt/be storage1 or whatever you named it. It's in that directory, which is actually linked to your volume. So that's basically how DigitalOcean's volumes work. It's very nice and very easy. And you can have multiple volumes connected to one Droplet, which is amazing. That can be really useful if you have like multiple backups or you need to, I'm not sure exactly what the use case would be, but definitely it's very good, and it can really help you out with a bunch of additional things that you ever have to do with your Droplet. And again, it's really great for backup space. And like if you wanted to like store files off your computer so you can access them throughout anywhere in the world or share files, I mean, that'd also be a great place you can store it. Or you can also install Plex Media Server to your Droplet so you can watch your videos everywhere you go. And you can have all your videos be uploaded to that actual volume. So that's really nice. And we can go ahead and talk about Plex again. I mentioned in a previous video when we were talking about Amazon S3 bucket storage as basically this, but this here's a lot smoother than that because that had a transfer through the internet and everything. This is like directly connected. So, I mean, we've talked about quite a bit in this video, so I'm going to wrap this up now. This video will hopefully be uploaded on, today is the 25th, so this video should be going up today. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, please go ahead and ask them. And make sure you like this video if you liked it, and you know what to do if you don't like the video. And subscribe to my channel if you want to continue getting these amazing videos with DigitalOcean and pretty much other hosting providers as well.